Nityanandam everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Priscilla, and today I want to talk about sarees and the sacred and spiritual science of sarees. So from the West, we've never had any kind of conception that clothes themselves, what we wear, would actually be a science. But here in India, and through the Hindu and Vedic tradition, clothing is actually completely constructed and designed as a spiritual science. So I'm going to share a little bit with you about what I've learned and why a girl like me decides to wear a saree every single day, and why it's so important. And there's a huge concept right now in our culture of political correctness and cultural appropriation, but the saree is actually something that can and should be worn by all spiritual people who have a serious intention to raise their consciousness, because there's actually a science behind it to help you reach enlightenment. So it's not just that Indian person should wear a saree just because it has become a cultural icon in India. No, it's so much deeper than that, and it's so much more an open architecture for any human being that wants to raise their consciousness should be wearing a saree, and I'm going to explain why. The saree is actually the oldest and longest lasting indigenous clothing that is worn in modern society still to date, and it is the only existing clothing in the world that is completely unstitched. Yes, you heard it right. When you see this happening, there's no stitching, there's no hems, no seams. So how does this get put together exactly? It's all a tying and wrapping process, which it took me a while to learn, but now I can do pretty quickly actually. There's so many different styles and ways to tie sarees. Throughout different regions in India, many styles have developed, but the most important thing is that it's one long piece of unstitched cloth, usually like 5 to 9 yards, is this piece of fabric that you see spanned out. And the spiritual science behind it is actually completely specific to having no stitching. Why is this? What does that have to do with spirituality or science? There's actually a science to the energy flow within the body through the clothing we place on it. Because energy is absorbed into our system through all of our external happenings in the world, clothing is actually the first thing that energy hits. So if we're in jeans, tight jeans, or a t-shirt, our energy actually gets very jumbled. The energy we're absorbing and the prana we're absorbing gets jumbled or even blocked sometimes from entering our body just because of the clothing and the pressure it puts on our body. There's a whole Vedic science behind this that is thousands and thousands of years of applied science. And the saree, because it's unstitched completely, and when you wrap it in a circular motion around the body. So the whole draping of it is actually a continuous circle, and energy naturally flows in a circular motion. So the saree, because it's wrapped circularly, keeps the energy that is coming from your outside environment flowing in a circle continuously, which basically allows you to absorb the most energy from your environment. So it's super fascinating. And having no stitching in your fabric, see, there's actually, even to the minutest detail, stitching in the fabric barricades energy. So if there's some stitching here, it actually blocks then that prana, that energy movement, from then absorbing into your body. So the saree is unstitched and wrapped in a circular motion for this reason. And then why all this placement, right? Why some people wonder why some parts of the body are covered, some are not, right? Why are the legs fully covered, but why does the stomach show? Because in the Western culture, it's actually kind of backwards. Here in India, if you show your arms or your stomach, it's not that big of a deal, but if maybe you show your shoulders or something, it's a bigger deal. For us, we may not understand that from the West, but the reason is actually the science behind it has a lot to do with what culture has developed around it. So the stomach is always exposed in the saree because the stomach is the area called the brahmastan in Sanskrit, which is the area of our body where we absorb the most energy. It's the area of us which is the microcosm of the sky, which is the openness of the world absorbing energy, of the earth absorbing energy. The Vedas explain how the human body in the stomach area is actually that area for us on our body. So having this completely untouched and uncovered allows that energy to flow directly into our core, into all of our chakras that are in this area as well. And a huge part of Vedic sciences is that the balance of masculine and feminine energy in the sides of the body actually represent this masculine, feminine, Shiva Shakti, yin-yang kind of force. So the left side of the body is the female energy, the Shakti energy side. The right side of the body is the male or Shiva energy. So by having pressure on the left shoulder, it actually helps balance both of these energies, but specifically the feminine energy is balanced and helped to be awakened through pressure, subtle pressure on the left shoulder. All of this kind of goes beyond, you know, most of our understandings, over our head. Why would something this subtle matter? This is why I've fallen in love with Hinduism, because the most subtle to the tiniest of details is actually an applied science in your life. Everything from the way we dress to the way we eat with our hands, every single thing has a specific reason behind it to bring you the most energy and awaken all of your energies inside your, even just your physical body. It's so fascinating to me, and the more and more I learn about it, I just fall more in love with it. So for anybody that wants a spiritual awakening, that wants clothing that can actually represent not only who you are as a seeker, as a spiritual being, as somebody who's seeking enlightenment, and representing that in your outer physical body, the saree does this so beautifully. But it also, you can feel what it does to your system, what it does to your energy, what it brings to you versus just generic Western clothes, which block you in so many ways, and also don't express your full potential. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to this video, and I hope that it was a bit informative. And if you have any questions about this, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I will get back to you directly in the comment section. And last but not least, don't be afraid to go out and try wearing a saree. And it takes a little bit of practice at first, but honestly there's so many videos out there. Actually on YouTube is how I learned, so maybe I'll make a video one of these days about it. But try wearing a saree, feel the energy flow in your body, connect back to that source from that civilization that you probably once were a part of in a past life, as I know I was. So thank you guys for tuning in. Nityananda!